Hello, it's Bishop Mark. Today we begin chapter 5 together. Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 5. And it might look like I'm in a different spot, but I'm actually in the same place. I just turned the chair around because look, the sun is so bright that I thought I'd hide from the sun to be with you. So let's begin Luke chapter 5 together. While the crowd was pressing in on Jesus and listening to the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. Okay, so we knew that Jesus was in Capernaum and he left Capernaum and he went to the other places in Judea. But now he's back at the Sea of Galilee. Luke calls the Sea of Galilee Lake Gennesaret. The Sea of Galilee actually has lots of names. One of them is Lake Tiberias, after Tiberius Caesar. Lake Gennesaret, as Luke calls it, they think is because of the shape. If you looked at the Sea of Galilee from above, it kind of looks like a harp, and the name Gennesaret comes from that. So, same place. Now, Capernaum is on the Sea of Galilee, and maybe he's in Capernaum again. But the Sea of Galilee is much larger than one town, has many towns around it. But he's definitely by the same sea, the Sea of Galilee, and he's preaching. People are gathered at the shore listening to him. And so let's see what happens as he preaches at the shore of Lake Gennesaret, or we've been calling it the Sea of Galilee. He saw two boats there alongside the lake. The fishermen had disembarked and were washing their nets. So he's preaching by the lake, or the sea. I'm getting them both now. And he's out of the corner of eye, perhaps, or maybe he was facing the water, but he sees that there are these two boats there with fishermen, and they're finished fishing and they're washing their nets. You have to take care of your equipment if you're going to be a fisherman. And so these fishermen were doing the routine of finishing up for the day and specifically making sure the nets were washed. So that's what they were doing. And we continue to read chapter 5. Getting into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, he asked him to put out a short distance from the shore. So who's the fisherman? It's our friend Simon. Jesus obviously knows Simon. I would assume he met him at the synagogue in Capernaum, because right after being in the synagogue in Capernaum, he went immediately to Simon's house to heal his mother-in-law. You remember that. So I'm guessing he knew Simon from the synagogue. And then he obviously was with Simon when he cured Simon's mother-in-law. So he knows Simon. So now we know as he's talking on the shore, he's looking at the boats, and in the boat is somebody he knows. That's Simon. And so he gets in the boat and asks Simon to push out just a little way. It's interesting. We're going to read the next verse, but watch how Jesus is catching the attention of Simon. Okay. After he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch." Okay, let's look at this a different way, at how it happened. So, Simon sees Jesus at the synagogue, obviously intrigued, obviously believes that he's a healer. Simon says, "Come, my mother-in-law is sick," and heals her. So Simon is very impressed with Jesus, but he's a fisherman. And so he wasn't on the shore, he was working. But Imagine you're cleaning the nets and you're Simon, you're washing the nets, and then you're listening to Jesus, and Jesus is talking to the people, and he comes back and he gets in the boat. Must have surprised Simon, huh? So now, why he pulled out a little into the shore is because the crowds are getting bigger. And so to be away from the crowds but still have them hear him, Jesus often preached from the boat. And so he stood up in the boat and he talked to the people. Now there's something about water that maybe you've done this, but if you're in the boat, the voice kind of bounces off the waves and is kind of amplified, makes it louder. Amplify is a big word. So the voice gets louder and more people can hear it. So Jesus is using that ancient way of talking to people. He's standing in the boat, he's teaching. Now imagine you're Simon, watching him, listening to him, these profound things. He's in my boat. When it was all over, and the people were walking away, he says to Simon, okay, let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. Now this surprised Simon. But what he said is, after he had finished speaking to Simon, put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch. So Simon had just been finished fishing. He didn't catch much that day. And now Jesus is telling him, let's go out again. That's a little strange for Simon. He's the fisherman. Jesus is not the fisherman. He doesn't tell Jesus how to be a carpenter or a preacher. But here is Jesus saying, let's go fishing. So Simon said in reply, Master, we have worked hard all night and have caught nothing. But at your command, I will lower the nets. So they'd been up from probably very early in the morning, trying to fish. It was a bad fishing day. And now it's much later in the day. It's a bad time to fish. But Jesus says, lower the nets. So they said, well, I guess if you're telling me to lower the nets, you're the guy that was able to heal my mother-in-law. Okay, you want to lower the nets? I'll lower the nets. Now, that's all we had for today. Let me do one more verse. I got to switch this one to verse 1 to 6. So here is, when they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets were tearing. Oh, this Jesus, he has so many interesting things about him. But now he's fishing at the wrong time of day, on a day when the fish weren't biting, and he says lower the nets, and they're full of fish. Oh, Peter is so amazed at Jesus. You know, Jesus works on us too. We find he's in the background, and then our own faith starts to hear who Jesus is. And then we listen a little more. And here you are, all listening to Luke and intrigued more. So, Jesus kind of sneaks up on us sometimes. And all of a sudden he's in our boat. All of a sudden he's telling us what to do. It's a good thing. Now we're going to talk more about what happens after that huge catch of fish next time. Peace.